AskReddit by violating badges. What? Due to experience, do you know not to fuck with? Not immediately washing and disinfecting an open wound. My mom knew a guy that had to have his leg chopped off because a cut got infected. It was insane. Chop. The infection kept coming. Chop some more. He survived, but he lost a leg. Spent a long time in the hospital. Ladders. I worked in an ED at a major trauma center, and the number of otherwise healthy people who came in paralyzed or soon to be dead from falling off ladders was eye-opening. My ex's dad was a healthy and still very active man who was about to turn 70. And I mean healthy, lived in a house on a mountain and spent his mornings hiking trails the average person half his age would get winded by. He had literally just retired. He and his wife were about to head out on a long vacation, so he was shutting down the house and noticed a small leak in one of their bathroom ceiling. Decided to check it out himself. He fell off the ladder and basically ping-ponged his skull the whole way down. Instantly a vegetable. Stayed that way for 8 months before passing. This made me and ex look up ladder injuries, and my takeaway is this: if you're not being paid to be on a ladder, pay someone to be on a ladder for you. If someone at work tries to badmouth someone else and they ask you about what you think about that person, just keep your mouth shut. If they are badmouthing others to you, then it's very likely that they are badmouthing you to others as well. Keep such people at arm's length. Fridays. In the id world we call it Red Only Friday. Don't change anything. If I see another engineer on the team do a deploy on Friday, I set myself to do not disturb. We have informal Fridays, a high priority bug fixes only guideline. Drowsy driving. Eater. Back in 2015, I had an incident where I fell asleep behind the wheel. The first was in mid-August, and I had fallen asleep on my way home from work after a 16-hour night shift because my job messed up the schedule. We couldn't work more than 12 in a single shift. All I remember is I was driving, then I was waking up in a hospital 4 hours away from home. No clue where I was or what happened. I had suffered a major B and have been mentally different ever since. Had a pretty major concussion following the accident. It happened in the back roads of southern Idaho, and I was lucky to have come out of it with 0 broken bones. Everyone at the hospital was saying I was lucky to have survived. There were witnesses who saw the whole wreck, a couple high schoolers on their lunch. I read the police report and witness statements, and according to them, my car rolled 6.5 times, ended wheels up, and I was partially ejected, laying half in and half out of the car through the window. My seat belt buckle had broken as the car was coming to rest. Wasn't there a test people did where someone who had double the legal limit was still a better driver than someone who didn't sleep for 25 hours? Vibrating logs in the forest. Don't investigate. Don't kick it. Don't throw things at it. It is always hornets. Reminds me of the post that said something like, no matter how superstitious you aren't, you still shouldn't go near suspiciously clean bones in the forest because those bones may have been cleaned off by fire ants that decided to nest around the bones for more convenient access. My health. Getting older, you rediscover all those old hurts. When I was 20 I hyperextended both elbows playing volleyball. 15 years later my elbows started aching in the winter. Also my teeth. It falls under health, but not everyone thinks about the dentist when they think about health. If you are eating this, please floss. It's a small thing that can make a huge difference later. Trust me. I have started flossing daily, late 30s, and every night I'm like, WTF, wasn't I doing this my whole life? The shit that comes out. Trusting people's blinkers to mean they are turning. My driver's ed teacher always said the only thing a blinker truly tells you is that the bulb is working. It stuck with me. Meth. Ruined my life for a while and I had to fight tooth and nail to get it back 18 months clean. for real. When you hear not to try meth, not even once, heed that warning. Same here. Congrats. It's still hard for me to shake the embarrassing things I did while high. Never trust a trench or a hole over your shoulders deep. You will die a horrible death. Yes, at the beach too. I think the rule is belly deep. Any higher and the dirt or whatever falling in can crush your lungs and make it impossible to breathe. Ticks. Lyme disease sucks y'all. Ended up with bilateral Bell's palsy because of it, and my joints scream at me like I'm a much older man. And X200B. And that not even the worst thing that ticks carry. Edit, a letter. The pancreas. Seriously. Do not fuck with the pancreas. Waves. Newbie body surfer, misjudged a 6-foot wave and nearly drowned. I was standing about waist deep at the beach, and a wave knocked me on my butt, pulled me out a little, and washed me back up. All I remember was sky and water. My friends thought a riptide got me. Head injuries. I had a single friend that got into a barroom scuffle. He got knocked down and hit his on a tiled floor. Got back up and said that's it for tonight. He lived alone and that was on a Friday night. When he didn't show for work on Monday with a no call, that raised some eyebrows. When he didn't show on Tuesday, someone went out to his place and broke in after no answer. He was dead on the kitchen floor. Doctor guessed a brain bleed. I think about him every time I see a video of someone getting knocked out. Edit, it's only been a couple of hours since I've posted this comment and I don't regret saying it, but I'm sorry for having dredged up so many sad stories. This is so sad. My friend's elderly father took a tumble off the bottom step of a ladder and hit his head. He went in to sit down for a bit, and when his wife came to check on him he had passed in his chair. Head injuries are no joke. Dudes with cauliflower ears. I heard they make good wrestlers. Mandolines, the kitchen gadget's not instrument. They sell gloves to wear while using these that keep you from slicing your fingertips off. Really helpful. Electricity. While working at a hydro dam I witnessed a main power line detach from the generator and arc across the floor for about 10 seconds, withering like a snake. It melted a deep trench in solid concrete. Aggressive drivers. Just let them go. Same, I learned that people like to drive while armed and they will pull it out for any little thing these days. Intuition. If something feels wrong, stop. It doesn't matter if it's stepping out onto a snow-covered slope, pulling up to a sketchy gas station, or putting too small of a piece of wood in a table router. Listen when your brain tells you this is a bad idea. Boulders covered with algae and mountain creeks do not equal water slides. Curious what the specific dangers of this are? Breaking bones? Cracking your head open? Drowning? The ocean or any body of water, really? Yeah man. I live in Michigan and why too many tourists do not realize what Lake Michigan is. The thing will kill ya in a moment's notice if ya aren't careful. Respect her. Always notice the Coast Guard's helicopter go over a whole load more during the Coast Guard festival. Garage door springs. Pay a professional to mess with that shit. Dear Lord, that's terrifying. The tension on those things is immense. Water. Rivers. Current. I'm a fairly good swimmer, and I wanted to swim in a river where the current seemed really tame. Boy was I wrong. Just small moving body of water dragged my poor body like a leaf in the wind. Heights. I fell out of a tree when I was a kid and nearly severed my leg. A branch ripped it wide open into the bone. I had fat and muscle falling out, and I very nearly bled to death. It took hours of surgery and months spent mostly in bed before I was able to really use that leg again. It's been more than 25 years since then and the scar is still massive. half an inch wide and wraps all the way around my inner thigh. That fall was only 3 feet. Number one reason for why I frequently tell people to never underestimate a fall, even a short one. It only takes one accident to completely fuck you up and potentially kill you, so caution is important. Totally. I am a nurse. Had a 45-year-old patient that fell 8 feet off his garage roof and never walked again. Then I had an 81-year-old patient that fell off her roof and came to the ER with a laceration on her head. We watched her for a while and discharged her that same night. You never know. A commercial dishwasher that has tape over the power button. I time traveled to the other side of the room. Clear violation of OHSA and you could have sued civilly for $$. The HR frequent flyer. It doesn't matter if you didn't do anything wrong. They will still make your work life unbearably annoying if you dare upset them. You don't even have to upset them to get caught up in their crap. We had a guy consistently late to the point it affected his work, and our boss called him out on it. He went to HR saying the rest of us weren't held to a start time, which was true. We're all salaried and would roll in 8:35, 8:40, hang around the coffee machine and chit chat, but then we'd get our work done. Because of his lateness, we all had to be butts in seats at 8:30. Luckily I was already in the process of moving departments. Bed bugs. You can't treat those motherfuckers by yourself. You need a professional to treat that shit. People always go on and on about mosquitoes being demons, but no, that's actually bed bugs. Bed bugs were created by Satan himself in the fiery pits of hell. Cat bites. I love cats, but got bit by one once. Spent 3 days in the hospital and there were talks of amputating 2 of my fingers and maybe 1/2 of another finger. Had intense IV antibiotics and came out fine but was scary for a couple days. Animal bites in general. My sister is in physical therapy from a dog attack last month that left her hospitalized for a week from infection. I was so worried for her. Glad they didn't have to amputate any of your fingers. Cows. Grew up on a cattle farm. They can run faster than you think and can hit you so hard that you fly out of your shoes. Dad had a buck who thought he was a puppy. He loved Dad. Dad would go out into the field to check on the cows and here would come Buck, bounding up, just so happy to see Dad. Understand, though, that while Buck was a small bull, he looked like a stereotypical cartoon bull. When a cow was in his way, he'd nudge it a little and knock it a few feet. Until one day he was walking with Dad and leaned over to rub him, like a cat. Knocked Dad over, maybe broke ribs, God knows what else, why don't I know? He didn't go to the doctor when he cut the tip of his finger off, just pulled the flap over and bandaged it. What makes you think he'd go to the doc for that? A falling KitchenAid mixer. Those damn things are heavy. How'd it even fall off the counter to begin with? Ours might as well be a lead weight when using it.